Hi everyone, today I'm going to be reading you a story from the reading area in St George's and St David's classroom at East Street. Now being as we're all working a little bit differently at the moment, doing things we don't normally do, the story I've chosen is called Little Miss Giggles and the New Job. Can you guess what Little Miss Giggles does every morning when she wakes up? Yes, that's right, she giggles. It's the same story all day, every day. The tiniest things make her giggle and giggle and giggle. Some people love Little Miss Giggles giggling, but some people don't. Little Miss Greedy, for instance. I'm sure you can imagine what Little Miss Giggles did when she saw Little Miss Greedy eating an enormous cake. She giggled, of course. Little Miss Greedy thought that Little Miss Giggles was giggling at her, but in fact, Little Miss Giggles was just giggling about the new job that she had. On this particular day, Little Miss Giggles was even happier than usual because she was starting a new job as a waitress in a very smart restaurant at the golf course. "Do not forget," said the manager in a very important voice, "this is an extraordinarily, impressively fancy restaurant. The service must be perfect." And what did Little Miss Giggles do when she heard these words? She giggled, of course. Her first customer was Mr. Grumble. "Oh, at last!" grumbled Mr. Grumble when Little Miss Giggles came to take his order. And of course, as usual, she couldn't keep a straight face. It was the same when she brought him his food. She just couldn't help giggling. Mr. Grumble was not pleased. "And what do you find so very funny?" he asked crossly. "Are you giggling at me? I must speak to the manager right away." "I'm here at your service, Mr. Grumble," said the manager, impeccably politely. "Your waitress is giggling at me," grumbled Mr. Grumble. "In fact, she won't stop giggling." "Oh, please accept our most serious and sincere apologies," replied the manager. "I can assure you that this will not happen again." giggled Little Miss Giggles. "Little Miss Giggles," said the manager importantly. "Mr. Grumble is one of our most difficult customers. Therefore, please do not giggle in front of him." "But I'm not giggling at him," explained Little Miss Giggles. "I'm just giggling because I'm so very happy and I'm such a big giggler." "Let me give you a different job," said the manager. "Please take these drinks out to the golfers and do try to be seriously serious and sensible." Little Miss Giggles promised to do her best. Do you think she will be able to be seriously serious and sensible? I'm not too sure. Mr. Uppity had just hit a very good ball. That is to say, he had hit a normal golf ball very well. The ball was right next to the hole. "Oh, good shot, Mr. Uppity," said Mr. Happy. "Not bad, I agree," said Mr. Uppity. "But I know I can do better. On my next shot, the ball will go straight into that hole." But his next shot did not go well. He missed. And at that moment, Little Miss Giggles arrived with the drinks, happily giggling to herself. "I must speak to the manager at once," cried Mr. Uppity. And no sooner had he spoken than the manager had arrived. This young person has made me look ridiculous in front of my friends, said Mr. Appleton rudely. In fact, it's entirely her fault that I have lost the game. Please accept our most serious and sincere apologies, said the manager once again. I can assuredly assure you that this will not happen again. And that was why little Miss Giggles was sent to work in the golf club shop. And in the shop, little Miss Splendid and little Miss Bossy were trying on some truly ridiculous hats. I don't need to tell you what little Miss Giggles did next. We must find the manager at once, shouted little Miss Bossily, dragging little Miss Splendid away with her. I'm tremendously sorry, explained the manager, but I'm unable to let you work here any longer. But even with this bad news, little Miss Giggles couldn't stop giggling. Do you think she'll be able to find another job? On her way home, little Miss Giggles walked past the nursery. She could hear that the babies weren't giggling. They were crying, sobbing and bawling. What a terrible noise! The poor lady who was in charge of all those crying babies wasn't giggling either. She was wondering how she could cheer them all up. Little Miss Giggles walked into the nursery, giggled at the babies, and, as if by magic, they stopped crying. In fact, they started to smile and laugh and giggle back at Miss Giggles. This time, little Miss Giggles had the perfect job. And ever since then, little Miss Giggles is happier than ever when she wakes up in the morning. At last, she has found the job where the gigglest giggles aren't always her own. Let's just look back at that and those babies giggling with her. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story, and please remember, giggling will always make others smile. See you soon.